Hello and welcome to the next video here in marketing with YouTube. Now we're going to talk about YouTube SEO. So if you watched the last video, you saw a little bit about what happens when you search on YouTube for how to make green slime. I would like to revisit that instance here. Same graphic as last time, or screen grab, really. You'll see if you search how to make green slime, there are 3 videos that appear here. This is just the top 3, and they are all different. All right, we talked about thumbnails in the past, but you'll also notice none of these titles actually say how to make green slime. There is how to make slime for beginners. There's fix this slime, but it's red light, green light. And then there's how to make slime dash green glitter metallic slime. All of them have, for the most part, the keywords in there, but only one of them, or actually, 2 of the 3 of them have all of them in a different order. So that makes it an interesting kind of search result because if you had a video on how to make green slime, there is an opportunity here to rank for the keyword phrase in that exact order. So I'm not going to go into a ton of SEO stuff here, but I did want to talk about, hey, if you Google something, what is going to be the actual what's going to be the return here. So YouTube SEO, this is something that a lot of businesses kind of I don't want to say take for granted, but don't think about. Because the way that SEO in general works is you're supposed to plan it out in advance. You're supposed to think about your YouTube strategy for your business. You're thinking, okay, we're going to create a channel. We are going to go after whatever our target audience is. They are going to likely search for whatever their keyword phrase is, right? They're going to search for a specific keyword or set of keywords, and you could have 100 of them, 100 different keywords that they're going to search for that you want your videos to rank well. And then you go in and you create videos around these pillars of SEO that you have, content pillars. That's the ideal world, right? Because you want to select keyword phrases that potential customers would select either on YouTube or on Google. Well, it's not that easy. It doesn't usually happen that way ever. The reality is that most of the time, this goes back to the digital file cabinet. Companies create videos, they then hand it off to a marketing person who is then told to just upload it and maybe optimize it, whatever you want to do. It's not, again, businesses don't have a ton at stake here. So they don't really care what the optimization is as long as it's on. And as long as they can get the embed code, right? That's become kind of the standard. But that causes issues. Maybe not too many issues, but enough where companies can't be strategic with their search engine optimization. They are very much stuck in reactive mode. So these next couple of slides, we're going to look at the algorithm and kind of put you in a position where when you are being reactive, not because you want to, but because you have to, and that's just kind of how most companies work with YouTube, you'll be able to utilize some of these elements to put your video in the best position to get some new traffic and new visitors from people that are just traveling around on the road of YouTube here. So I break the algorithm down into types of signals. The one that you can update that your higher ups are probably thinking, oh, you can just optimize this video. That all happens here. These are the easiest ones. These are the content signals. These are the basics. There's a title, there's a description. You can add chapters to your videos, which for longer videos I would recommend. For shorter ones, I don't know if it's necessary. I've done it with some of my videos as a test to see if it has any impact. It hasn't really yet, but they're helpful also for the viewer because then it makes it a little bit more likely that they're going to stick around and watch more of it. It also makes it more likely that they're going to skip ahead because they can see what's coming up. But again, skipping ahead is better than leaving. So chapters help. Interestingly enough, the file name that your video file is when you upload it, that is part of it. If it's just a bunch of letters and numbers, random, scrambled, um, that does no good. You're better off naming it whatever your keyword's going to be. And then your transcripts and context. YouTube automatically generates a transcript for you now, so it can quickly review a video and generate it for you for accessibility purposes. You can also upload your own transcript. I think the automated transcript has gotten pretty good. And I really just use those most of the time. But having said that, YouTube has started adding more context clues, context gathering for the algorithm. This kind of goes to the idea of what I talked about last time with thumbnails, where it can apparently machine read graphics and text on graphics. But if we look at that a little bit more, a little bit deeper, the idea here is that YouTube can analyze your video overall and understand more of the semantics behind it and the general ethos of what the video is about. I don't know how that works. I don't know how big of an impact that has. And a lot of this, again, may be hearsay, but I do know for a fact that the transcript portion of the content of your video is a part of YouTube SEO. And all of these are all of the content signals are really revolving around the keyword phrase. Again, this is not something where you select the keyword phrase and tell YouTube to go look for it. YouTube's just going to do it on their own. So YouTube goes through all of these different areas of content and finds the most commonly used keyword phrases without seeing anything spammy or keyword stuffing, which is very 1999. And then it will rank your video appropriately. So that is honestly the only area where the keywords are a big part of the SEO, or a big part of the algorithm, because the algorithm really goes in a different direction after this. Welcome to behavior signals. So video performance is very much a big driver. I would argue this is probably the biggest one of the different types of signals, because you see how well a video is accomplishing its goal. And if we look at YouTube as a social media platform, like all other social networks, the number one goal of these social networks is to keep people on the site. More people on the site means more time spent, which means better metrics that can be reported, which means more ads can be served, more money can be made via ads, via selling ads. And YouTube, which is owned by Google, is operating a very similar game as Meta. Meta and Google both are making most of their revenue from ads. And one of Google's ad properties is YouTube. And on YouTube, there are, as we saw earlier in the first video, billions and billions of videos watched per day. The more per day that it can have, the more minutes per day that people are watching, the more potential ad revenue for the platform. Now, what does that mean here? Well, I'd like to point to the bottom thing here, total YouTube session length. So the first four are all pretty straightforward. Behavior signals. Oh, if you like a video, like, sure, that's going to help. If you watch a video twice, that also is going to help. That's good staying power, strong content. Audience retention, especially for the first 30 seconds. Good. Like, you don't want people to leave in 3 seconds. It could be a bait and switch for all we know. Like, oh, my video is about, how to fix a car, and instead it's how to ride a horse. Like, those are very different things. YouTube will probably catch that through its little semantic review anyways. And total watch time, of course. But the last thing is different. If your video is part of a long YouTube session, then that will help that video's performance in the eyes of the YouTube algorithm. So what I mean is, let's say you go to YouTube and you see a video. You see this video, right? You see this video about YouTube, the YouTube SEO. You watch it, whatever, it's 10, 15 minutes. And then you go and you watch another video. It could be mine, it could be someone else's. It could be a Mr. Beast video for all I know. And you watch that, and then you watch another one and another one. All of these videos that contribute to this long session length are going to get a little boost from the algorithm. Meanwhile, if you had just watched my video and then logged off, which hopefully you'll watch more than just this one, that's not going to help you so much. I don't know if it's going to hurt you in particular, but I know that watching a bunch of them, watching, 5, 10, 15, 20 videos is going to give you a much bigger lift than just watching one. This goes back to the idea of playlists. If you can keep in end screens, if you can keep somebody on for a couple of videos, that may just have a marginal impact on the SEO on your video's performance, but a little bit can go a long way, especially when you have a lot of people watching your videos. All right, and then we have viewer signals. This is the reverse of the content signals. So the content signal is about the video itself, all the areas where the algorithm can see the keyword phrase for which it's going to rank. But there's also a person on the other end of this video that's watching it, and their profile, I should say, is just as much a part of this algorithm. There's a reason that if you and I both search how to make green slime, we are going to get different results, almost for sure. There's a lot of different things that could go into that. One is your watch history and your search history. If I've searched how to make green slime in the past, clearly because I have a screenshot of it. So I'm probably going to end up seeing similar results as I saw before. If you've never searched it before, you may get a completely different first page, a completely different array of results in general. Not to mention, if you search how to make green slime and a creator that you have watched in the past has a video about green slime, there's a good chance that they will actually be at least towards the top of the list. So there's all these different things that are at play here, not to mention there's your topical interests, right? All of my YouTube history, well, at least personally, has been on really marketing, sports, some music, and like movie trailers, right? But I have topical interests within all of those. So if I were to see, how to make green slime, but there was for whatever reason a basketball in it, that's going to rank a lot higher for me than it would for somebody else. There's also demographic elements to it as well. If you're a child, your results are going to be very, very different than what an adult would be. So there's a lot of viewer signals here too. Finally, we have what are not signals. These are common misconceptions. And at one point, all four of these were listed as signals, and they have all been credibly debunked, if not by YouTube and Google, then by creators who are running experiments on thousands of videos where there's enough evidence to say otherwise. All right, one is the time. I used to use a social media textbook for this course, and there was a whole graph about the best times to upload videos to YouTube. There are no best times. I mean, for shorts, yes, 100%. But this textbook was written before shorts, and it was, like, oh, you have to do it during the day, in the morning, and at night. It could not be further from the truth. Half the videos I've ever uploaded have been in the middle of the night. And hey, some of them are some of my best work. Sometimes in the middle of the day I upload them, and some of those do well. Some of them fall flat. You got to remember, YouTube is the long form YouTube videos. There's a long game to that. That is not an instant thing. And yes, there is an instant premiere option when you upload a YouTube video. But again, that does all that could potentially do is give you a little boost for those first couple of hours because you have subscribers who are actively awaiting your videos. For 99% of people who are uploading videos to YouTube, that makes no sense. For the 1%, for the Mr. Beasts of the world, for the Mark Robers of the world, then that makes sense. because there's probably 100,000 people that will watch their latest video immediately, right when it's published. But in reality, the time does not matter. Two is tags. When you upload a video, just below the thumbnail upload is a section that says tags, and you can enter in some words. Um, Unlike a WordPress website, if you've ever worked with a website before, or really any website that has a blogging function, you can add tags, which are essentially, they're not categories, but they are commonly searched terms. That is not how YouTube works. YouTube does not use tags as categories. It uses it as essentially misspellings. So they're really supposed to be just commonly misspelled words, maybe names, their search terms. Something that I like to do a lot is, hey, if I'm optimizing for, if I have a video that's optimizing for digital marketing analytics, I might put a tag in there for online marketing analytics, so that those are two very interchangeable phrases. But I don't have the words online marketing anywhere in my title or description or transcripts or anything. So throwing it in as a tag might give it a little boost, not from the algorithm, but when people are searching for the terms online marketing, that will register as a potential replacement. But it's not going to magically float me to the top of search results. All right, so tags, minimal role. Then there's channel upload frequency. These last two deal with monetization. For you to make money on YouTube, you need to be uploading at least 3 videos per night per 90 days. So that's like 1 video per month. It does not matter in the general long form video algorithm how often you're uploading a video. I mean, it's kind of like I would argue, both with TikTok and with YouTube, you could upload your first video and it could feasibly go viral. Not saying it will, usually it doesn't, but it doesn't matter how often you upload, how long you've taken a break. It's fine. It doesn't matter. There's really no impact on performance. Then finally, the fourth point is monetization. This is a term used by creators who can essentially turn views on their videos into revenue. Now, there is a threshold that you have to meet and to keep monetization, but again, that has no bearing on the algorithm. The algorithm is 100% different from monetization. They work together, but they do not impact one another. And speaking of monetization, the next section is going to be how creators monetize, probably my favorite one. No, I am not a creator and I am not monetized currently, although I have before, and we will talk about that up next. So, the next section should be an interesting one. Hopefully you learned a little bit about the algorithm here, and we will call it here. This is probably going to be the longest video. This one that we just finished at about 18 minutes. So, if you have any questions, especially on the algorithm, please be sure to send them my way. There's a lot of smaller pieces that I omitted from these slides because I don't have enough time, and they just are not major signals. So there are other elements at play here, but the major ones we covered. And again, if you think I missed any, or if you have any questions about them, please feel free to reach out.